Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight I would like to offer a book review for those who enjoy tea, plants, a little bit more along those lines, and how you can use that to tie into setting intentions, working with goals, vision boards, things like that. In our current vernacular, we use a lot of different terms to define the word, what we used to would call magic. But magic, and I've taken Aleister Crowley's version of this, is change in accordance to will. So it's not always woo-woo, that's definitely part of it, but it doesn't have to be, is where I'm going with this. So when we're setting intentions, that's a form of creating change with your will. So when you're doing that, you can integrate multiple aspects of your life to make your goals focused. I did a previous review by the same author on the Encyclopedia of Wicca in the Kitchen or Magic in the Kitchen. I can't remember the exact name. I have the book in my collection, but I just don't have it with me. And with that one, it was really focusing on how you can prepare foods, main course type stuff, in alignment with your goals, dreams, and ambitions. But this one, it takes it to an entirely different level, because the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs by Scott Cunningham breaks it down so that you're, like, if you're using tea or you're adding seasoning to a meal, you can add your intention along with that. And a lot of it is super simple stuff, like buckwheat. If you like it for breakfast, you like buckwheat pancakes, when you're making it, you can focus intention with it, because its powers are worth money and protection. Interesting that it was classified as a poor person's food for a lot of years, but in reality its focus was on protecting you, your health, your family, but also drawing in finances. So you're using it with flour. You can he makes the example, you can sprinkle it around your house to keep evil away. You can use it instead of salt for purification. If you do salt circles for meditation, you can use buckwheat flour actually. You can also add buckwheat to incenses, to I just lost the name of the little pouches you put your intentions into and then tie them up. I can't remember the name right now, but you can use them for all of those types of things as well. And buckwheat is just one of the options. Like burdock is used for in natural healing. It's generally used as a detox and purifier, but you use it in for intention setting, or magic if you will, for protection and healing. But you can literally set up your entire world to help focus your intention, because we always make it out when you're talking about, I'm setting my intention to fill in the blank. Cool. And you have a vision board, you might say some mantras, but then you go through your day, and unless you consciously put thought into repeating, focusing, and staying really active with that, let's be honest, most of the time you see it in the morning, because that's where I usually have mine behind my computer, and you see it at night when you come home, and that's kind of where you leave it. But when you're adding herbs into your life, you can add that, like a seasoning, like this is my money drawing seasoning, because my vision board, I have X number of dollars, this is what I'm doing, and I've made a salt mix, blend, pepper, whatever you're using, to enhance that. So each time you're eating your food at work, you're sprinkling, you're like, oh yeah, my intention, this is what I'm eating as I do this. And you can add it to cooking. It's not unethical, you're doing it with harm to none, so you're not hurting people by doing this. But you can also use it with tea, and other things as well. The reason I was saying other things, ginger. I will eat ginger all day long. Candied ginger, put it in tea, add it in, like, whatever. Ginger's probably involved somewhere in my food, in my cooking. But for focusing, like if you're really working on your energetic stuff, you're using it for love, money, success, overall confidence, self-assuredness, and so you're using it with those. And then he puts notes like how to use it: eating ginger before working, making your vision board, setting up meditation, lends more energy and focus to that, because ginger is a warming herb, so it works to build up heat, and heat equals energy type of a thing. You can plant ginger to attract or grow money. Powdered root, you sprinkle it in your pockets for that purpose, or in your wallet. Little trick there you can use. You can use it for success. So anything that you're wanting to build, like a vision board, or you're really focusing on, I want success in my business, you can actually mix ginger into acrylic, or there's another paint out there, my brain just lost it, and paint what you're looking for success with that little oomph of added ginger into it. So there's a lot of fun ways you can use the herbs, and he literally has, I can't remember how many are in here, it's like several hundred, I think, but it's all around the world stuff. It's not just what you can grow here, because we've got the different ginsengs, how they are used. He even uses kelp, which doesn't have a lot of functionality in most metaphysical. Now, if you're an islander, you probably have more use for that, but as far as, those of us that live inland, not so much. Its uses are for travel and protection, usually associated with water. So it's a fun book to glance through, even if you're not into the, like I said, the more Wicca aspect of life. There's just a lot to help focus an intention, to help build a little bit more of a knowledge of what you're eating, what you're drinking. Those are all tying into your spiritual practice. Marjoram, very, very common cooking herb, especially in Italian cooking or seasoning in general. It is protection, love, happiness, health, and finances. And you can, marjoram, literally throw some seeds in a pot, pour some water on it, and ignore it. You're going to have marjoram all over the place. I have a pot in my window right now that is very much needs to be trimmed down, which I'll probably do this coming week. But he also, what I like about the way he does this book is marjoram gets G. G for go. G for good, safe for food, basically, and have it around kids and pets and not a worry. But he also gives you the heads up, because a lot of the old stuff, like mayapple, is poison. So he tells you the things that you can use for poppets, or just, to add to paint for your vision boards, but don't eat this. And he's really detailed in it. There's some things that you would think would be alright, and they're totally not. And that's why he puts the notes in here. He goes, let's find a fun one. Something interesting that would just be fun to go over, because nutmeg. That's a good one. We're moving into the holiday season when this video goes live, so we'll go with that. He goes over the folk names, which is Coast, oh good grief, Sedhika, Wupala, Bakuba Aku. I probably murdered those names, sorry, but he gives those. Then, and this is the part that I find fascinating, because everything in our world is polarity. Light, dark, masculine, feminine. And he goes through and what is the dominant energy of this plant. Nutmeg is masculine. He gives the planetary assignment. Some plants don't have one, and so he'll just leave it blank or none associated. For nutmeg, it's Jupiter. Then there's the element, earth, air, fire, water, spirit. Nutmeg is fire, so right off the bat, before you get any further into it, this is a warming herb. It's a projective herb, and it tends to be more dominant in its practice. Well, if you've cooked with it, you know that's true. Then we have the powers. In other words, what it does: luck, money, health, and fidelity. Which is why you have it at Thanksgiving and Christmas. So dominant is it builds more of an emotional state of collectiveness. We're together, builds that strength and bond of a relationship. And so you can use the whole nutmeg, or you grate it and use it that way. But he goes through all of that, and in his lifetime he did a lot of this type of work. Let's see if we can find one. Papaya. This one is known as folk name papao or put. Gender is feminine. Planet. This one kind of surprised me a little bit, because you dissociate this with a different planet. But the common association with papaya is with the moon. The element is water. That's kind of obvious when you cut open a papaya. The energy that works with it is love and protection. The protection one's a little bit new to me, but the love one doesn't surprise me. But then he goes into how they're used to tie a rag around a limb of a papaya tree while visualizing your need. The tree will just help you manifest it that way. You can use papaya wood in your house, and you can eat the fruit and serve it to a loved one. That will intensify feelings of love and fidelity. Kind of like mango in that respect, but it's a lot, like I said, it's a lot of fun. You can find out hyssop, saffron, what you can use it for, sage. Sage, I think, is like 2 pages long. Let's find sage. Nope, just one. But sage is huge. Like, this entire page is sage. This entire page is saffron. Not herbs and spices you would use very commonly. Saffron's not, unless you're really into Indian cooking. Sage, if you cook with a lot of meat, you're going to use a lot of sage. But he goes through the different powers, the uses, the energies. It's a fun book if you're wanting to integrate or maybe bring in a little bit more intention, a little more focus, spreading your spirituality through the day. Because we are spiritual beings. We're not here just to do our spiritual thing in the morning and the evening, or once a day, however it works. You know, we do our 15 to 20 minute meditation, we do our whatever yoga, however it pans out, and then we go about our day. We're spiritual beings. Integrating that spirituality throughout our day is kind of important. A lot of, like, I was raised where you prayed before every meal, didn't matter what, but that was the way to integrate spirituality into more of your day. It wasn't just in the morning, it wasn't just at night. You did that, but you also had breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you added it into. When you're using herbs, spices, and that in the plant world, you're increasing how much of that you use. There's a section in here. Where'd it go? Helps if you learn how to spell. There's one in here for, where'd it go? Oh, maybe that's in a different book. In the other one that talks about coffee, but in this one you've got like lavender, you've got the different kinds of teas that you would use, peppermint, all of that. So as you're going through the day, you're drinking your tea, you're drinking your juices, you're drinking your coffee, and you're setting intentions as you're doing that for, this is why I'm drinking this beverage, or as I'm drinking this beverage, I'm bringing this into my life. It's a way to trigger those memories. For example, black tea, just regular old oolong black tea. It's masculine. It's energy. Planetary energy is the sun. Element fire. It's a warming energy, very projective. It increases energy for riches, courage, and strength. So you can make it as a tea. They even suggest burning the leaves. Sounds a little gross to me, but you never know. And then he puts a little folklore as well. Like there's one here for thistles, and there was a spot in here. So like this thistle one makes me laugh a lot because I like reading it. Wizards in England used to select the tallest thistle in a patch, and that would be used as their magical wand / walking stick. You would go out, find this thistle, and we're talking the really big purple-headed, beautiful ones. Some of those things can get as tall as 5 feet, and you would find the tallest one, you would cut it off, there's a process to dry it. He doesn't go into all this. I looked it up when I had heard it because I was like, how does that work? But you cut it down, you dry it. If you're using it as a walking stick, you'd reinforce it. If you're using it as a magical wand, there's a process for that. But you preserved it with the flower head on, so you always had that bubble at the end of it. And it was just like little things like that that kind of catch your eye and draw your attention in. So as you're going through this, you're like, well, I can use this and that. Well, that's an interesting little tidbit of information. The thing that I have always found highly helpful with this particular book, this one in particular, is in the back, he divides everything with an index. So you can look up herbs that are sorted by planetary ruler. We've got Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. You can work with just the elements, earth, air, fire, water. And a lot of them will be, they're not a lot, but there's several that cross over, so you can figure out which ones are very focused on what you're looking for. If you're just wanting to work with water, find the ones that aren't on other lists with water. There's plenty, trust me. You can also look for your intentions, like to help with astral projection, to work with divination, increasing fertility, promoting friendships, how to help with hunting. If you're a hunter, there's even a section for that. And what's funny is he wasn't a big advocate for hunting, but he also knew that that was part of nature and part of life. So even though he wasn't into it, he still was open to other people doing it, which I thought was pretty impressive. Of course, there's a huge section on love, how to aid manifestation, what herb, and it's just lists of all the herbs that you would use in those departments. If you're looking for teas, like I said, you can literally look up here what you're looking for, go to that section, find out if what's safe to use for ingesting, what's used for I almost had that name, intention bags, and stuff, and so you could set them up by that. He also goes through a little glossary in the end, and this one is, I think, one of the few books I've seen this in, because I have a couple of these different books. This is my favorite one. It tells you the common names, what you would find it under otherwise, like black snake root. No idea what that would be, but it's black cohosh. And then you've got bee balm can be substituted or commonly called lemon balm. So you've got all these other names that you can go bouncing around and find out. There's cross references with folk names, there's substitutions, but it's overall an amazing book. So if you wanted to integrate plants into your intentions or your practice, this is an amazing resource to collect. I will have it linked in the description below. With that, I will let you guys go. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it, comment, let me know if you've ever used his work or if it's something that you're interested in. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you in a future video.